Hi there, and welcome to this webinar entitled Salesforce for Outlook and Gmail are retiring, and what do you do now? My name's John Carini, and I will be presiding today. Happy to have you all here. Um, we're doing an interactive webinar, so if you do have questions, there's a comments area in YouTube. Please do post your comments there, and I'll be happy to answer them. Hang on just 1 second. Yep. So again, ask any questions. And I'm going to start out by asking you a question, actually, and I'll ask a few questions along the way. First question is, what email do you use? What email system, Outlook or Gmail? So I put that in the comments area. Please reply. Hey there, Drew. Good morning. Please reply, and I'll try to address the specific needs. So far, we have a lot of Outlooks. There's a Gmail. Okay, great. So keep on answering, and then I'll somebody says both. That's me, actually. That's pretty cool. So there's somebody else like me. Great. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. I'll show a few slides, and I'll talk about the current situation with Salesforce and the Outlook and Gmail clients, and kind of where they're trying to push you. And then I'll show you a little bit about our solution, which is obviously which I think is much better for those for this type of integration. But let's get into it. So this is the obligatory subscribe slide. So please do subscribe. I would really appreciate it. We do these videos probably once every month or so. We try to include good content that helps. And more importantly, I could tell my kids I'm an influencer if enough people subscribe. And I'm actually really close. I have like plenty of viewing hours and things. I just need a few more subscribers. So please do subscribe. I would very, very much appreciate it. Okay, so let's get going. So just so you know, the company I'm with is called iEnterprises, and we are a Salesforce partner. And we've actually been in CRM since before it was called CRM. It was actually in the mid-90s when we started the first really called contact management. It's SFA, Salesforce Automation Company. And at the time, believe it or not, we were all about integrating email and calendar with your CRM. Again, then not called CRM. So we've been doing this for more than 20 years. I'm actually here in the New York area, but we have offices in Europe and Asia as well. And really, you know, our specialty is this concept of CRM and email and calendar integration. Just so you know, the product offerings. So we have a connector for both Gmail and Outlook that connects to Salesforce, and then we support some other CRMs like Dynamics and Oracle and Sugar and NetSuite and soon HubSpot and some others. So we kind of know a little bit about all the different CRMs, if you will. And then we actually have our own CRM that competes with Salesforce. It's called iCRM, and it's basically basically our shtick with that is we sell it all at one price, including the Outlook and Gmail integration and everything. And we just give you one price, which is around $30 per user per month for everything. We don't try to upsell you. We give you everything all at that one price, $30 per user per month. We have this other product called Social Insights that lets you create leads from LinkedIn and save them in Salesforce. That's pretty cool. It also saves in iCRM because everything's included with that. And then we have a new product, which is a connector for ChatGPT, which basically automates your email. And basically makes it so you can answer the emails with ChatGPT. Now that connector for ChatGPT is actually built into these CRM connectors too, and we'll talk a little about that towards the end. Here's some of our customers. Obviously, these are the really big ones, but we have the customers run the gambit. We have really large ones, and then we have onesie twosies too. So before we get into this, why is it so important to have CRM in your email? Well, you've all probably invested a lot of time and effort in your Salesforce solution, and you know that really, in a lot of cases, I guess it runs your business, right? And it's a lot of time and effort, if you will, that we're probably all investing in these products. So this first study here from Inc., I love this study, says that the average worker spends 30 hours a week checking email. That isn't even writing email. That's literally just checking your email. So, you know, I can draw from that, hey, the average worker spends most of their time in email. Therefore, CRM needs to be in email or it's not going to be used. I think that's pretty easy conclusion to draw. Let me know in the chat if you think I'm crazy. And I see everybody's commenting there. There's a lot of Outlooks and a bunch of Gmails too, so I'll be sure to cover both. And then this Forbes study says like only 18% of the time is spent in CRM. And this other study from Katera talks about how ease of use is really critical, which I couldn't agree more with. So, so really what we're doing is we're kind of saying, hey, your CRM belongs inside your email because that's where you live. And if you're gonna ever use your CRM, it better be right inside your email. This one I love too. Data-based decisions make companies about 19 times more profitable. So we're kind of doing that too. Bringing data into your email is really important, and letting you make decisions where you know where you live in your workday. So let's talk about the Salesforce for Outlook and Gmail retirement. And one thing I'll say is, if there's one thing I know, it's that I don't know everything, but we've done our best to kind of figure out what they're really trying to do. And it seems to me, you know, and we're a Salesforce partner. We really appreciate them. We appreciate their marketplace and their openness and the flexibility of the platform. However, you know, they're always trying to upsell, and I kind of view this as a similar thing. What they're trying to do is get you to buy Salesforce Inbox and Einstein Activity Capture. This is a great question. Thank you, Andrew. They're just retiring the third party. No, that's not true. They're actually retiring Lightning Sync too. They haven't given us much information on that. I have a slide on that. Hang on one second, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. So this thing right here, Salesforce for Outlook, this is like the UI piece that sits inside of either Gmail or Outlook, right? And it's no longer available as of today to new Salesforce users. It still works. It still works if you have it, but like there's already things that don't work. Like you can't create new records, and there's no updates to it. So there's a possibility, like the full retirement here is scheduled for December of 27, which, by the way, it used to be like June of 24, so they just kind of moved that out again. Maybe they're getting some pushback, I don't know. But there's a possibility it would stop working before then because they're not updating it at all, and that's an important piece there. So if you want to stay with Salesforce's offerings and not go with third-party solutions, Salesforce Inbox is a fine solution. It's $25 per user per month for you know, in addition to whatever you're paying for Salesforce now. And then there is some like limited integration that's also available where you can do some very basic things, but really Salesforce is pushing you to do this inbox thing. And you know, and to their credit, they do mention third-party applications as well, and how that's an option to go with third-party applications too. So Lightning Sync, thank you, Andrew. um, so yeah, they have a statement out, and you can just Google it, you'll see it. That says that Lightning Sync is retiring as well. And what Lightning Sync is, it's like a background sync. So the there's the Outlook for Salesforce and Gmail for Salesforce. That's the user interface. When you go to Gmail, you see that inside or Outlook. You see it inside your email application. Lightning Sync is a background sync. So that's the type of thing where it would automatically sync emails if it finds like a contact or a lead that matches the email address of a sender. And, we can get into detail about that. Like, that's up to you whether you want to automatically save all your emails or click once to save them. And then in our product, we have a hybrid where you can click to save them and then save the rest. The thread will just save automatically after that. So that's the background sync. But where I see that being used almost all the time is with the calendar sync and automatically syncing calendar items to and from Salesforce. It's really handy, especially if you have Salesforce maybe creating calendar items, like things you have to do with new leads or new contacts, and then getting those to sync out to your calendar is really important. I mean, quite frankly, if it's not on my Gmail or Outlook calendar, I'm going to miss it, right? Like if it's in Salesforce, that's good, but I'm not like sitting there looking for my next thing to do. That's always on my personal calendar, right? Okay, so this is also no longer available for new Salesforce users. And again, it's kind of in the same situation. It still works if you have it, but there's no update, so who knows if it'll keep on working. And they haven't given a date, and I looked, maybe, does anyone know this? Because I don't. I looked all over, and I had some of our employees look too. They haven't really published the full retirement date. So basically, if you have it, you can keep it. You can kind of hope it keeps on working. But it might stop working because there's no updates. And so what they want you to do with this is they want you to go to something called Einstein Activity Capture, right? And this costs, I actually believe it's, they provide like under a certain number of users is included with Salesforce, but once you get over, I think it's 100 users, they want $50 per user per month for this. So it's pretty expensive. And by the way, they call it EAC sometimes instead of, we got to have our tech acronyms, right? So sometimes they call it EAC, and that stands for Einstein Activity Capture. And that's like a background sync with some more intelligence than Lightning Sync that syncs anyway, this is interesting, Andrew. You're saying Salesforce is a third party. Yeah, I don't think it is, but we'll talk. Maybe I'll do a little research on that afterwards. I think that's provided by Salesforce. Anyway, so bottom line is with the UI, they're trying to get you to go to Salesforce inbox at $25 per user per month. And with the background sync, which are kind of like two different technologies, right? There's what happens in the user interface, and then there's what's syncing in the background, if you will. Okay, so I just want you to know, like, obviously, like, we provide a product like this, and there's a lot of caveats, especially with Einstein Activity Sync, that will point out that maybe could apply to other third-party products too. So, like, obviously, if you're looking at partner solutions like ours, we'd love it if you considered ours, but some of the others are pretty good too. And then I'm going to point out some of the things that are kind of wrong with Einstein Activity Sync and even the Salesforce, the ones you really have to pay all that money for, there's still a lot of caveats with them. Give me a minute, I'll get to that. So just so you know, we have this thing called the connector for Salesforce. And the whole idea is you do everything from email, and it has the two pieces of technology, where you get a really nice user interface, and we bring information into your email as you're using your email so that you can make educated decisions and see what's going on with your customers and so on. We help you create leads. You can use email templates. We have like these social media links and things. But then we also provide, and we're kind of like all about providing everything at one price, is that we provide the whole background sync. So it's basically both of those Salesforce products are included in our connector, right? And then now we recently just added ChatGPT AI to the connectors. And it's basically like you're getting a subscription to ChatGPT 4 when you get one of our connectors, and you can actually use ChatGPT from within those connectors. And we'll talk about that more. So in addition to doing everything from email, you should be able to do everything from calendar. And I won't go into this too much, but basically everything you can do from your email, you should be able to also do from your calendar, and that's what our product does. And again, with the background sync, I see the background sync being super important, for calendar. And let me ask a question again. It seems like there's more Outlook than Gmail, by the way, but there's still plenty of Gmail. Are you using anything, or I should say, what are you using to sync your calendar today, if anything? So what are you using to sync your calendar with Salesforce today? So if you guys could, if anything, you could say nothing, right? So I put that in the chat. If you guys could answer that, I really love it when people ask questions and it makes it interactive. It's just so much more fun. So Cindy, thank you, Cindy, says nothing today. So we might be able to help with that. We'll see. Most people, it looks like nobody's syncing. Interesting. Not synced. Okay. So far, not much. Okay, there's someone with Salesforce Inbox. That's interesting, Elizabeth. If there's something that you want to tell us all about Salesforce Inbox, please let us know. And there's and Andrew, you're using Lightning Sync. Okay. All right, great. Einstein Activity Sync, but not functioning as intended, right? Okay, interesting. I'm going to cover some of those caveats with Einstein Activity Sync, actually, in a second. So one thing about our connectors, they work on mobile. There's another Einstein. Cool. Everything works on mobile, full fidelity. Every single thing, when you open the Outlook client or the Gmail client on mobile, everything works. So just so you know. So this slide is really for our Gmail users, right? And sorry, Outlook people, but there's more stuff for you in a second. So really, almost every other solution, even the other third-party solutions, but specifically the Salesforce solutions, including Inbox itself, is a Chrome extension if you use Gmail. And if I don't know how geeky you people are, the Chrome extensions really just aren't great, in my opinion. They're just kind of not reliable. Whereas what we do is we use this thing called a Gmail add-on, which lives inside the Google Cloud. It's not something you install locally. It's in your Chrome browser or anything. It's actually built in the Google Cloud. So Chrome extensions aren't reliable. Add-ons, in my opinion, always work. Chrome extensions conflict with others. Like if two Chrome extensions try to use the same real estate on your screen, they actually conflict with each other, whereas add-ons don't. They're tough to deploy. They have a footprint so these Chrome extensions have a footprint on each and every PC, whereas the Gmail add-ons like we're using, they they don't. They get deployed in the Google Cloud. There's a security risk because, believe it or not, a Chrome extension, if you give it authority to do so, you can the thing can actually read what you're doing at your bank account. It's crazy, but it can. It can read everything on your screen, which is absolutely crazy. So it's a security risk, whereas ours works right in Gmail and it connects to Salesforce over HTTPS directly. So it's a super secure connection. Nothing passes through any other servers. It just goes directly. And then, of course, Chrome extensions aren't available on mobile, whereas add-ons are. So ours is, and then they only work in Chrome. That's why they're called Chrome extensions. I know that's not really a joke, but hey. Whereas ours or the Gmail add-ons in general will work on any browser. So I know this slide is really small, so I won't go too in full detail. But the Chrome extensions again require like an Einstein Activity Sync from Salesforce versus us and probably some of the other third-party solutions. When it comes to Outlook, it requires Exchange, whereas and it requires Google Workspace, whereas ours will work with any email account. Must be set up by the administrator. You can actually install ours yourself, or the admin can administer it. Anyway, there's a lot to be desired here. Okay, so like with respect to Einstein Activity Sync, let's talk about some limitations there. Believe it or not, when you use Einstein Activity Sync, it actually syncs the emails outside of Salesforce. It syncs them into some Amazon AWS repository, and they're completely unencrypted. And not only that, more importantly, perhaps, is they don't appear on most Salesforce reports, right? Like you'll get an activity report for something, and these email messages that you're syncing don't even show up there, which I know sounds crazy, but that's how it works. Don't know if they're planning to fix that. I guess I hope they do, but it definitely gives us an advantage too, because we obviously sync everything directly to Salesforce, to this email object. And then Andrew says you can't drill into EAC reports. Thank you, Andrew, again. Yeah, that's true. And the reports are just crazy. Like it's very hard to like show the activity, the activities on the reports or in the Salesforce interface the way that you're used to them. So here's some more stuff. I know these slides are small, I'm sorry. They don't show on reports. Users can't delete emails, and obviously if you use ours, if you're authorized to it, you can delete it. And then this is crazy too. Synced emails are deleted if you cancel your Einstein subscription, whereas like every other solution I know saves them to Salesforce and they stay forever. Doesn't sync recurring calendar items, so that's kind of crazy too. If you have recurring calendar items, you're going to want them to sync, otherwise your calendar is just going to be messed up. Whereas, obviously ours syncs that. And then the synced email and calendar attendees aren't saved, so you can't see who was at the meeting if it's a calendar item, whereas ours doesn't save attachments. Ours saves attachments. And then they say it takes up to 24 hours to sync emails, which is crazy. Maybe it's less, whereas like in our case it's 10 minutes. We have like social media integration, and theirs costs $50 per user per month. That's just for Einstein. Remember, Inbox is another $25 per user per month. And ours, if you buy annually, it's $20 per user per month, basically. Yeah. So actually, June, let me give the actual price of our product is $24.95 per user per month. And then if you buy it annually, you get it for $19.95 per user per month paid annually. And that's for everything. There's no like, platinum version of our product. We just give you everything at one price. That's kind of our shtick. That's the way we do it. And then, anyway, there's a lot of limitations. This thing where it saves the emails outside of Salesforce on AWS and it doesn't show on the reports, that's just a huge limitation, and it's unencrypted too. It's crazy. So basically, now I'm going to get into a little bit more about our product, and I apologize for the the plug, but I just want to show what's different. So first of all, if you have Outlook, you can actually install our product from the app source, which I'll show how to do. And then for Gmail, you can do it from the Google Marketplace. And I'll show you how to do that too. So I'm going to do a quick live demo, but yeah, somebody says, what is everything? You're going to have to go to our website, ienterprises.com, and there's like a full list of features there. But I'm going to try to show you what everything is in the demo right now. Anyway, let's get there. Just give me 1 second. Sometimes it takes me a second to get the live demo going here. Just give me 1 sec. Let me see. Share screen. I'll do this one. Okay, so I'm starting out in Outlook, right? And let me bring up a message. So if I click on a message, in its simplest form, you can see this is our connector, right? Shows on the right-hand side. And then up here on the top, you'll see here are all, in Outlook, these are called add-ins. I'm starting in Outlook. I'm going to go to Gmail in a second. And the way you get these to show is you just click on them and they show up. I highly recommend, like no matter what you're using, if it's something you use a lot, you pin it. So when you pin it, if you click on this little pin here, then every single time you open a message, it'll show. Now, if you don't have it installed, you simply do get add-ins. So for me, it's under these 3 dots. But as we know, Microsoft has like almost unlimited versions of Outlook, right? And each version's a little different. So sometimes the get add-ins is at the top level here. I know if you're on the web, you have to go into a message first, and then you'll see these 3 little dots, and then you click on them, and you can click get add-ins, and then you can put in Salesforce connector. And this is our product, and you can just, obviously mine's already added, but if you click add here, it'll add it, right? And then basically the way it works is when I open a message, so you can see this message here is from James Person, right? And you can see that that it then goes out to Salesforce and tries to find James, and it did find James in Salesforce, as we can see. And James works for this company. I can click on the company and drill into it if I want. And then, James's job title, blah, blah, blah. So like in its simplest form, you might just click on this little add button and then log the email, right? And I'll just click that and that's it. Boom, the email is logged. Keep in mind that optionally you can have a background sync going that just automatically logs all emails, and like it'll just be there before you even open it up. Alternatively, you can link the email to any object, right, in Salesforce. So if I click this link button, you can see here, there's a drop down for all the objects in Salesforce, even custom objects. And by the way, the solution's metadata driven, which just means it detects your Salesforce configuration and renders everything based on your Salesforce configuration. Just a fancy way to say all the custom fields and custom stuff in your Salesforce are supported. So the most popular one would be to link it to an opportunity, and you can see by default it's showing only the open opportunities for the company that the sender of the message works for. So if I pick this big deal opportunity, now that's it. The message is saved to Salesforce. Instead of against James, in this case, it's saved against that opportunity. And then I had mentioned this before. This is something that's kind of unique to us, this mark thread capability. There's that background sync that syncs everything no matter what. If it finds a match in Salesforce, you can put rules into that say like don't sync internal emails and so on. But anyway, pretty much everything is synced. And then maybe you just want to sync certain messages. You can click to sync them, associate them maybe with an opportunity or something, and then you can click this mark thread option. And what this means is that all future replies to this thread will automatically be synced. And not only that, they'll be saved against that opportunity I selected, right? Because it like remembers how you linked it. So, in its simplest form, that's like the options for logging emails. And there's a lot more here. I'm going to show the ChatGPT stuff in a second. But as I scroll down, you can see all the stuff that's related to James in Salesforce. So this is his contact record. Here's that opportunity, right? Any cases, campaigns, relationships, everything's here. All this is clickable, right? I can open up, for example, if I click on this opportunity, I can open it up right here. I can even edit it right here. And maybe I can, change the expected close date or something right here and save it without ever leaving this screen, right? But maybe, maybe I want to see this opportunity in a full screen. I can click here and it'll just open it in Salesforce in the full screen, right? I'm going back. I'm back to that first screen. One other thing I wanted to point out is you can add items here. So for example, if someone emails me and has a problem, I can click this plus sign and create a case right here. And then it'll just get routed to whomever's in charge of the case. And it'll take the details from this message, including like, let's say they sent screenshots depicting their problem or something. And then it would just create the case and include the attachment and so on. Someone's asking, this was a pretty good. This is funny. Yes, of course, our connector's not retiring. The Salesforce, the one from Salesforce is, not ours, but thank you for pointing that out. That was really important. I should said that at the beginning. Okay, so let's keep on going here. Yeah, so you can pretty much edit anything. And then I'm going to show that I'm going to go to Gmail in just a second. So Gmail people, hang in there. So there's all this great stuff. Here you can say to ChatGPT, reply to this email, for example, and I can say, okay, I want to reply. And I can say, ask. So this person, James, now I'll look at this message, says, I'm interested in your product. So what product he is interested in. This actually happens to me all the time. People ask like, hey, I'm really interested. I'm really interested in this, in your product. Can you give me some details? And then we have more than one product, so I always have to answer this, but I'll make ChatGPT say, hey, ask what product. Let's see. Reply to this. Okay. So I'll say reply. Okay, so now it shows me this message. Thank you for reaching out. Could you please let me know which specific? That's pretty good. And then I'm going to say, you know what, make it more formal because I'm so formal. Okay, and then I can say that, that's pretty good. So you can go back and forth. I'll do create a reply, and then here it is. It throws it up in a message as a reply, and I can just click send. So I can like automate my email. Obviously, like that's a very simple example, but if you know, especially on mobile, I find it hard to answer questions. Um, yeah, somebody wants to see the full screen thing. I'll show it in a second. Um, Let me show, if I go to this message, this is actually from me, and I go to ChatGPT tools, I can say, tell me about iEnterprises, for example. So this is iEnterprises is the company. Now it goes out to ChatGPT. It's a different message now, right? I just wanted to show you, like, you can do research on your company. So this is really good. It's always amazing to me. Like, has pretty much everything about our company. Maybe I should have made ChatGPT do the presentation. Really good. So you can do a lot of research while you're doing. Let's go to Gmail. Um, oh, you know what? Before I do that, one thing you can do too is you if the Salesforce connector is open, let me go into this message. Um, you can open the contact at any time, and then you can just open the record in Salesforce. And what it'll do, it's on this screen here, it'll actually launch Salesforce and take you to this record right here. And you can edit it in Salesforce. Sometimes, like, the sidebar isn't enough, and you may want to open it in the full screen in Salesforce, and you can very easily. It's very good for that. Takes you to the right place very quickly. Let's get into Gmail. So sorry for the delay there, my Gmail people. I love Gmail too. So in Gmail, the add-ons show on the right-hand side here, right? So here's the Salesforce connector, which is not retiring. This is ours, and it's very much not retiring. Basically, you click on the add-ons to open it up. And then if it's open, it just stays open. So you don't have to pin it like Outlook. If you don't have the add-on yet, you can click this little plus sign. And in this case, I just want to show you. I'm going to put in our company name, right? But you can obviously search for Salesforce connector and you'll get it. But you can see here, it's got 152,000 plus users, good reviews. And then here's our own CRM with 130,000 and the dynamics. And anyway, we have a lot of these connectors. We know what we're doing is what I'm trying to say. So in Gmail, if you don't have an email open, it's pretty cool. It kind of shows you what's going on today. So here it's telling me my tasks for today, or I can see my upcoming tasks, and it's telling me to do this webinar. So I got that done, or I almost got that done, which is great. And I can add tasks. It shows you some recently viewed. But again, you know, in its simplest form, you open a message, and now you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, it then detects that the person who sent the message is in Salesforce, and here's the company name of that person, and I have the opportunity to log, just like in Outlook. I can log the message, I can link it, I can mark the thread, I can do this ChatGPT stuff. This social insight stuff gives you social media links to everything that's available in Outlook too. And then I can toggle this on to see the related records as well. And remember, the related records, now it'll show like the opportunities and cases and everything right here. So it's kind of the same thing in Salesforce. It's just that it's in this Gmail add-on, right? And then the other big use case, let me show this in Gmail, would be, you know what, before I do that, you know, maybe you want to edit this contact too. You can open the contact, the sender who sent the message, and then you can either edit it right here, but if that is too small a screen, you could go open in Salesforce. Now it opens this contact in Salesforce. I can edit it right here, right? So it makes it easy to bounce back and forth from your email to Salesforce and so on. Hopefully that's, let me do this. So let's say I got a message from Bill Gates, and Bill is not in my Salesforce, right? I'm going to turn this on. And Bill's not found in Salesforce, as you can see, right? But there's his social media links I could click. If you don't know anything about Bill, which I doubt, you can click on those links and see it. Um, uh, and then, uh, and then, and the other use case is the person's not in Salesforce, and it helps you add them, right? So if I click plus here, I can add it to leads, and it helps me fill out the forms as much as possible. Like it gets the name and the email and the company name and all that from the message, and helps me fill it out. So I kind of got through the email stuff. I'll show the calendar just and a little bit of mobile, but we're almost done. If you do have questions about like this, I guess especially, I wish my calendar looked this empty, by the way, but let me do a meeting. And I just want to show you how the calendar stuff works. Keep in mind, there's the background sync for the calendar too. And I'll do James. I'm inviting my customer to a meeting, right? Okay, and then I can open the Salesforce character add-in, and then when I open the meeting, you'll see it really works exactly the same way. So I won't go into detail here because it's the exact same thing I just showed, right? You can then log the event or link the event to anything, or you can have the background sync running and have this stuff syncing automatically, which I highly recommend for calendar items. I think for email, it's a preference thing, but for the calendar items, I do. Yeah, I do recommend that. Yeah, so someone's asking, this is back to the Salesforce Outlook, um, Gmail for Salesforce. Yeah, like the same thing's happening with Gmail and Outlook for Salesforce. They're retiring both of their products, and we hope you consider our Salesforce connector as an alternative, basically. One more quick thing. I'll show you mobile I'll try to show you mobile. Give me 1 second. This takes a second. I apologize. Let me go here to. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to show you Gmail. Okay. Sorry, it just takes. Okay, so this is my iPhone in this case, but it works the same way on Android, and it's very similar in Outlook. This happens to be Gmail because I promised to show Gmail. And you can see the add-ons, instead of on the right-hand side, they show at the bottom here, right? And I can click on the appropriate icon, and then it's basically the exact same thing that shows on the right-hand side, shows on the bottom in mobile. So it's pretty much got full fidelity on mobile. And I love the ChatGPT stuff on mobile because, it's harder to type. I also love, I won't show this, but you see this reply using template. That's really cool on mobile because you can like reply to a message. Maybe I'll click it just so you could see. You can reply to a message and it'll give you your Salesforce email templates, right? And then you can just click reply and it'll reply like that. It's really nice. Here, I think this one. Okay. And now it'll reply to the message and insert the email template, and you can have like images and links and things. Anyway, I love this on mobile, so I will stop mirroring my screen there. That worked out well. We're pretty much done. Any further questions? Any other questions? Oh, this one. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get to this when you asked. So Carly said, is it possible to save an email to an opportunity and a contact in an account? It's kind of a Salesforce question, not really a connector question, because the way the relationships work in Salesforce is it's like the answer is yes, but the way it would work is you would, in this case, probably save the opportunity to save the email against the opportunity. And then by proxy, it's also linked to the contact and account because the opportunity is linked to that. So I hope that answers your question. But that's because Salesforce only lets you do one linkage, right, with the message. It's not really us. However, it can be achieved by, doing the relationship to a relationship, if you will. So I hope that helped. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Any thoughts on using versus using email to case? Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. I don't want to always say, "Oh, our product's the best," right? I want to try to be realistic. I think that if you're getting messages that are cases, right? Like, so somebody emails you with a case or a problem, and you want to add it to Salesforce. I think that if you really need to embellish on the case yourself as you're creating it and fill out some forms and things, or if maybe sometimes you get messages that don't need to be cases, right? Like maybe they, like, a classic one, by the way, is people email us a problem, and then they're not even using our product, right? It's like you could see a screenshot and it's some other product, or they ask a Salesforce question, and so that doesn't need to be a case. So I think that's a drawback of the email to case solution. That's where every email becomes a case. Instead, you can read the message, and then you can just click this little plus sign here and create the case on the fly. So I think it's better in that regard. However, if you just get simple cases, with and people ask intelligent questions always, just tough to say that, but if they do, then maybe having the case get created via email every time isn't so bad. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. Let me go back here because we're almost out of time. I like to get these things done in well under an hour. This took a little while. There's just a lot of little details, especially when it comes to explaining the differences between Einstein activity sync and what it does and doesn't do. So anyway, I apologize if it took a little long. I think we're good though. Yeah. So Andrew says, no, that's not true. Like, if you click the plus sign next to the case, you're creating a case. So it's you that decides whether to create a case or log an activity. Okay, great. Oh, this is nice. Thank you. I appreciate. I'm trying. So anyway, just so you know, the pricing for our product, in writing here, is if you can buy it monthly for just like one or two users or your whole company. It's up to you. And then you can just cancel it at any time. We don't play the you can't cancel or you have to commit to a year game. But if you do want to commit to a year, it's $19.95 per user per month, paid annually, right? And then if you have a lot of users, shoot me an email. My email's on the next slide, and we'll work something out. And again, we don't have the concept of a silver, gold, bronze, and platinum version. Everything we have, we give at that one price, right? Including, so it includes what you see in the user interface as well as the background sync. So it's comparable. How many is a lot of users? It's a great one. I'm going to say 50. Anyone with 50 or more users, definitely shoot me an email. And I'll try to give you some help with that. It's sales@ienterprises.com. But if you're just 1 or 2 or 10 or 20, that's absolutely fine. You can sign up and use a credit card, and it'll bill you monthly if you want. And that's something that almost a lot of these big SaaS companies, they just don't do. So anyway, I do want to mention we have our own CRM which competes with Salesforce, right? And you actually, with that, you actually get the Gmail and Outlook connector, the social insights, and full featured CRM for $34.95 per user per month, paid monthly, or $29.95 per user per month, paid annually. So like, again, with that product, we only have one price. We don't say, oh, buy it at $25 a month, and then, a month later we're asking for 100 because you need the enterprise version or something. We don't do that. We just give you the price as it is. I hope that helps. So if you do have further questions, you can shoot an email to sales@ienterprises.com or give me a call. One more time. I didn't have enough dad jokes this time. Next time, I promise I'll do better in that regard. But if you can subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. And that's kind of it. I'm John Carini. There's an old picture of me with not as much gray hair, but I appreciate you attending the webinar, and I hope you will attend the future ones. And more importantly, I hope you got something out of this and it helped you. So thank you all for attending. Have a fantastic day and the rest of your week. Be well.